Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. My name is Phil Nightingale. I'm the general manager here at Mel Hambelton Ford, and Josh Prophet, our service director. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Beautiful Saturday morning out there.
Yes, it
for
is.
October. Love it.
Yes, it is.
So, hey, anyway, this is a call-in show. I want to show you know you get paid to call in on 316-462-3673. And that's the number to call in. It comes right to our front desk here at the dealership. Tell them you want to get passed into the podcast. And it's anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries. You want to talk about anything in the racing world. You want to talk about anything in the new products, whatever it might be. We're here to answer your questions and whatever. Maybe we have some trivia today, Josh. We haven't any trivia in a while.
Yeah, we could do that.
And help you with that stuff. So whatever you got, when it always comes with a great price package, about over $130. And Delbert Alt's already on there this morning. Morning, Delbert. And as always, Josh, what's in that package valued over $130?
So we're going to mail it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hambelton Ford. While we're doing that, we're also going to complete the multi-point inspection on the vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components of the vehicle, just making sure that it's ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. You'll also receive yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner. Complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then BG Products package, which is going to consist of a can of MOA or motor oil additive, and then 44K for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving.
All right, 316-462-3673. And Josh, Delbert says, welcome back to the show. Your fans missed you.
There you go. Well, thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, Josh had a big phone call Thursday with Ford going over the 23 Super Duty and the order bank and stuff, and it's going to open up next week. Or doing a little differently, and I kind of get what's going on because of what's happened. Normally they go out and they build the high end with all the options, all the trucks. This time they're turning around. They're going to start off with the XLs, XLTs, and Lariats. And they didn't say it, but I know what it is. It's because it takes less of the chips, so less of the parts and all the stuff they can do. All the trucks with all the new tech and everything else like that's going to come in what they call Job 2, which they really haven't announced when Job 2 is. I'm guessing somewhere around, they're going to build the 22s all the way into the end of December. And yeah, we've got some customers that had orders in there that aren't going to get 22, so we have to figure out how we're going to get that taken care of. But then the order bank will open up here next week on the 23, and then they'll start building 23s in January. So I'm guessing Job 2, March or April timeframe is what I'm guessing from that part.
No, and I'm sure there's a lot of fleet customers out there, retail customers that are way behind, and they're running these vehicles longer just out of necessity from that side. And so I'm sure there's a huge demand for that kind of base model truck out there from the fleet side of things, I would guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, it is a huge demand on everything else, what's happening there from that part, but exciting to see that truck in person. And when we saw it there in Vegas, at the new car show, it's a lot of new stuff, a lot of new things there from that truck. So, anyway, Delbert Alt's getting an oil change down in Oklahoma. Josh and I forgot we needed to call him after last week's show to schedule an appointment for him to get in here. He's got an issue with his fusion of hesitating once he accelerates and stuff. So I don't know what we might have there. So we've got to get an appointment set up for Delbert and get him in here and get him down here from Oklahoma and see what's going on with that fusion. He says it's just like it hesitates, and he's got to kind of, even when he passes a car or does something like that, it does that. So we got to get him a shout tomorrow or after the show and get him an appointment. It's my fault for not remembering that. And he kind of reminded me yesterday of it. And of course, too many irons in the fire yesterday too. So
you don't say.
Anyway, James Furman, good morning, James. So anyway, so it's good, exciting to see that truck and see what's going on there when that 23 arrives, and probably start seeing them in late February is what I would guess. The 23 truck. So if you haven't seen the truck, whatever, jump out there on Ford.com. They've got a bunch of stuff on there. about the new Super Duty and things too. So got a lot of new stuff coming.
Yeah, the Mustang is the other one.
Yeah, I wish we could have some times. They say summer times when that 24 Mustang is going to be here. It's going to be the 23 Mustang. Everybody was thinking there wasn't going to be a 23 Mustang. Well, there is.
Yeah.
Going to be a very, very, very short run of a 23 Mustang. No GT 500 for 23, and I don't think there's going to be a GT 500 for 24 either from that part. But they're going to have this dark horse version that's supposed to be a pretty badass little deal.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, it's not really that uncommon for a manufacturer to go half mid-year into something and then just label it like a heritage edition if it's an older version versus a newer one and stuff like that. So don't really fall much into the calendar deal. But I don't know. I was thinking back to when they went real public, it was the F-150. Then when they switched from the to the all aluminum body, and they bragged about kind of flipping that plant around in what was it, 48 hours, or I don't remember exactly what the timeline was, but just all the work that they had to do to flip that plant around in that short amount of time. I mean, it was very impressive. And I remember seeing all the videos of them taking that stuff out of there and getting the new tooling and equipment in there. And I just can't imagine the logistics every time you change a body or change a design or, of what that takes.
Yeah, I do remember that when they had that plant, they kind of did that speed up deal.
Fast forward video of it, or
tore it down and put her back together. I mean, emptied that thing.
So, I don't know. Have you ever toured an assembly plant?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I've been through quite a few, to be honest with you. I went through, it was kind of neat back in the early 90s when I was on a board with Pontiac. And they were making the Bonneville in up there by St. Louis. It was a little town out of St. Louis. Can't remember the name of it or whatever. But we actually got to go in as they were making prototypes of the Bonneville. It was a 92 Bonneville. Anyway, they had us go in there, and then we went in these special rooms where they just pulled cars into this room and they just started tearing them apart, doing different things and analyzing and stuff. And they actually took us in there and asked us our opinion of things.
Really?
On the car.
Yeah.
And so we gave them our opinion and stuff like that. But what was really cool is when those cars finally hit the showroom, the things we had talked about changing in the car, they were changed. It was cool. I mean, it was really cool. I wish they'd do that today.
Yeah.
From that part to do that.
I think everybody would have a newfound respect. I've never been able to tour a manufacturing plant or an assembly plant from that side of things, but just all the moving parts, and all the the computerization of the assembly and everything like that, I'm sure is very, very impressive to be able to see it all kind of come together, so to speak.
Yeah. And then I went through the, this is way back to probably 9 or 10. I went through the Focus plant. And what was neat about that plant is where they took us on this one, it actually had rolls of steel being shipped in on trucks, and you'd watch them go through the plant. We walked that whole thing through to where that basically they rolled that out, that steel out, and started stamping hoods was the first thing they started stamping.
Yeah.
To watch those stamps go through, it's incredible to watch those things, pound those things out, and how they can get the quality and keep them the same and all that kind of stuff too. So I've been through that one. I'm trying to think of one other one I went through too, and I can't remember what it was. So have you been through a plant?
I've never been through an assembly plant. So
yeah, it's pretty wild.
We were going to, this has been many, many years ago, but we were in Bowling Green and we were going to tour the Corvette plant over there, which I'm not sure if that would be, as similar as like an F-150 plant, because just thinking of the sheer volume difference between those two. But yeah, I've heard that it's just really any assembly plant like
anything
that is going to be extremely impressive.
Well, it's kind of like we went through the Hoosier tire plant. I've never been through a tire. And watch a tire get built. I didn't have no idea there was that much into a tire.
And I previous to going into that plant, I really just envisioned maybe a couple of molds. They poured hot rubber into it, melted up, and bam, you had a tire.
You had a tire, right?
To walk through that thing and just see the manpower and what they put into making sure that what hits the ground is a quality product is absolutely crazy. For sure. So
now I can tell why we now have load force balancers.
Too. Yeah. Well, I would agree with that. Because every one of them is going to be different, and we had sitting there seeing, well, it's just like you're saying, seeing that massive blob of rubber come in, and then they're treating it with different chemicals and testing it as it's going through these gigantic rollers. Just to make sure that it's exactly what they want as far as the compound goes before they ever even get started on that. But to take a raw material like that and then see it
come out and be
to be something, to make something is definitely pretty impressive.
Okay, so who's been through a semi plant? Call us up 316-462-3673. Don't care what it is.
Yeah,
any kind of a semi plant you've been through.
Yeah,
give us a call. Let us know what kind of a plant you went through, what was kind of blew you away, was amazing about that plant and stuff like that too. 316-462-3673. Who's been through in a semi plant and seen something built from basically nothing all the way through or whatever from that part? Any kind of assembly. It'd be cool to hear, but that is, I used to like different things you'd watch on TV. I can't remember
how it's made
or something like that.
How it's made. Yep. Watch that, still quite often, as a matter of fact, from that side. So in the, through the vehicle assembly plant, did you like, as far as the painting stage, how did that work?
Well, that was, the one I remember well was the Focus plant.
And
it's just a big old room full of lines. And then you got these big old huge vats of colors. But what I still can't figure out is how they change colors.
Yeah.
Because those cars are coming down the line. They just a whole bunch of white ones and a whole bunch of silver ones and a whole bunch of it's not. They're all mixed in together, all different colors and stuff. And how that thing works.
Do a black one, do a blue one.
Shut those lines off and refeed another gun or what they do. They didn't get us all into that deep into that because you probably can't because the chemicals and everything else too. But it's a big room full of vat and all these lines are just running. You can see the colors in the vats and everything, and the lines coming through there, then going to the guns and stuff. But in the Focus plant, it was robots painting.
Well, and they have that down to such a science as far as just putting the least amount of paint on the vehicle as possible to do the job. From that side, I'm sure for a dollar and cents standpoint, you figure if you overspray too much one car or, every car by just a couple of inches, by the end of the day, you could have painted a whole car for that.
Well, yeah. And I still remember another time I went through a plant, that build transmissions too. And I don't know how to explain this to everybody in the show so you'll understand it, but you have a clutch pack. It's about, say, 7 inches in diameter, and it's about 4 inches tall, give or take, somewhere in there. And you would take a ring of a steel ring and then a fiber ring and a steel ring and just build that clutch pack up, probably 6 or 7 of them deep or whatever. But then the metal part had these notches that went into grooves that held into the outside of that drum so it would hold it. And some guy engineered figured out that he could take 2 of those notches off and not have the notches all the way around, and taking those 2 notches, I wish I could remember the numbers or whatever, it was millions of dollars that it saved.
Them.
But it was still enough, it was still strong enough to hold the torque and everything that it needed. But removing those 2 little pieces of metal, not having to have that on there, it saved millions of dollars over the years of building those transmissions. So it's things like that. I mean, I think they are in there trying to figure out ways to cut as minimum cost as they can.
Well, even talking about that from that side of it, we see a lot of vehicles now, brand new off the assembly plant, that don't have a spare tire with them.
Yeah.
But then also you think back, okay, when was the last time I needed a spare?
And everybody, I'm with you too, Josh. Of course, today I'm driving down, I guess, just getting off 235 on the Kellogg, and there's a trailer sitting there with a trailer tire blowed out. Well, okay, that we know what happened there. He was low on air pressure, whatever. But how often do you see anybody along the side of the road with a tire bad? You don't, like you used to. I mean, I was back in the days, cars had 2 spares. Get where they were going.
Or you carried around an extra one, or a floor jack, or just in case.
Well, my dad had a toolbox in the back, and then he had a little box that had a set of jumper cables in it, and a blanket, and a quart of oil, and some antifreeze, and that he carried with him in the back of his car. That's what you had to do.
Yep.
There was nothing to see somebody along the side of the road, somebody working on a car or doing something like that.
Well, on the other side though, too, your dad would, I just know, would be one of those people that if somebody else was on the side of the road, he'd stop and, try and help them from that side of it, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
And so it might not have been as much for him as it was for everybody else on the side of the road, for sure. So, but you think about it from a manufacturer standpoint. I mean, think of the savings by the time you did the tire and the wheel, and then I mean, the other side of it is weight. Not carrying around the extra weight for fuel economy, for sure. So, it's just definitely, I'm sure they're looking at every little thing, trying to see what they can save here and there, but still make it do its job and function, for sure, when it comes to the manufacturing side of things.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, James Furman says he went through a Crayola crayon plant. I bet that would be pretty cool to watch that too.
Be a lot of wax.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
A lot of wax. But the other thing is freaking seeing the machines that would put those labels around that crayon.
Oh yeah, wrap them around there.
I think that's different things like that to set up that automation. Was
just to see how fast it could do it.
Oh yeah. Exactly. Hey, 316-462-3673. Who's been through an assembly plant? It would be cool if it was an automobile plant, but whatever it is. 316-462.
At the Crayola Crown plant, it was all automated and it was flying and everything was working great. And then I touched something and ta-da, rainbow. But yeah, just to see how fast that they're able to produce something like that blows me away.
Yeah, I get it. Anyway, as we're waiting for the callers to come in, again, anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, whatever it might be, love to hear from you. And Josh, is I get a lot of windshield time with racing and stuff. I thought about that too, thinking about the radio show this morning. We don't give enough love to our sponsors on this show. We always do it at the last minute or whatever. So let's kind of BG Products. I mean, it's a great partnership we have with those guys, and we can talk about the Mustang here in a minute. We were just over there a couple weeks ago with our Mustang on the dyno, all the things they have over there, and I still think it was 86, 87 when I was cleaning injectors on these old port fuel injected cars and stuff, and stinking up other guys' stalls and stuff, and everything else with that too. So, but then anyway, anything to help your car live longer, go longer, everything else like that, and that R&D plant they've got over there is just phenomenal for what they do. And there's got those guys in there. That's all they constantly do. They're constantly getting cars from us. And I'll see the guys here all the time getting the cars to check their products and stuff. And it was kind of funny that when we were over there with that, with our Mustang, and we put it over on the lift to get that, to adjust those springs on the turbo. And we were talking to what they were doing, and they were actually testing other people's products too.
Yeah.
To make sure they're staying on the cutting edge of all that stuff. So if you need anything, if you want to make your car live longer, you got to be putting some BG products in it. If we got something for everyone to extend the life of the oils or anything else for that part.
Well, and here's my thing, especially in today's vehicles, everybody's powertrain is pretty durable.
Yep.
You don't have motors that break. You don't have transmissions that break. The rear differentials or, any of the drivetrain components, they don't break if they're maintained properly. And that's the key.
There's the key right there.
That's the key. And these things will go as many miles as you really want to put on them from that side of things. But it's the electrical components, it's the sensors and switches and stuff like that we see just deteriorate after time. That
all the electronics
becomes an issue. But as far as a powertrain, it really doesn't matter what manufacturer it is. I mean, there's some out there that probably have a little more bad reputation than others, or a little bit of black eyes as far as maybe one specific model or
motor
size or motor size in their lineup. But for the most part, everybody's got a pretty durable powertrain.
It goes back to it's way back in my days, they had the Pontiac Fiero and the 85s, and I thought that was a cool car. They came out with a little 4-cylinder back of the car and stuff. Then they had the V6, and then I saw some after the car got kind of killed. They stopped building it. The future plans they had for that car was amazing. What they had coming down the road and everything else too. But what really happened to that car is people didn't maintain the car, and it developed a few oil leaks. And with that engine being behind, it didn't get no air back there to move. So if something started leaking, it just caught fire.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really the car's fault. It's just that we didn't maintain that car.
Did you have a Fiero?
No.
Okay.
I drove a lot of them, though.
Yeah.
I can promise you that.
I'm sure.
So anyway, the recall that come out on those was basically dropping the motors out of those and completely resealing them up and everything else too. And let me tell you how many of those things I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I had that thing down to a science, man, how I could yank that thing out.
Did they drive? I don't think I've ever even driven a Fiero.
We haven't? They drove pretty cool.
With the engine in the rear and stuff as far as weight distribution.
So basically they just took, instead of a front wheel drive, they just moved it to the back.
Flip it around.
Yeah, but then they came up with the V6 GT. I think they called it a GT, and that thing was fun. It was fast from that part. But again, I guess those are the kind of things that happen. We have to maintain our cars, and we get so lackadaisical, in my opinion. I'm the same way. Of not maintaining it the way we need to or whatever. And
well, it's just, and I don't think really anybody has misintent. It's just a matter of being busy, and you think back of when something happens, and you're like, oh, that was just 6 months ago or a year ago, and then it turns out it's 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, it's I don't, like I said, I don't think it's just misintent. It's just not really taking the time.
Get it later. We'll get it later. We'll get it later. We'll get it later. And then we forget about what it is and how long it's been and all that kind of stuff too. So
just being busy from that side of things. So, we talked about just kind of unique designs. The other one was that always impressed me was the quadristeer vehicles with quadristeer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Chevrolet.
I don't think I've ever drove one of those. You
didn't drive one of the Chevy pickups or the GMCs with the?
I don't think I ever did.
So they had that, and then they had the Dodge had that Stealth, the car that had quadristeer on it for a little while. I mean, that was way before GM had come out with theirs. But I had drove. I think one or two of those trucks. There was one that the guy brought into the dealership over at Hutch. That we worked on or whatever a time or two.
Yeah, I remember that coming in there, but I don't remember. So, I don't think I drove that car, that truck.
Pretty sure I drove it, but I always thought that a person pulling a trailer or backing a trailer having that would be
cool,
just unique or different for sure. And I remember I think the option was like $4,500 or something like that to be able to have it on it, which in 2003, 2004, that was a pretty good chunk of change. So it just never really caught on, from that side. So
yeah, it didn't for sure. But hey, 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in the racing world, anything in new products, anything in the automobile world. Love to hear from you. Any question you might have or comment or whatever, then we can give you this great price package about over $130. So
on the MH Ford racing side of things, we're definitely starting to wind down there for sure. But I had a couple of different events this weekend. So
yeah, we are all over this weekend. We are, of course, up at Salina last Thursday, Friday, Saturday for their clash that they have each year, which has been postponed due to rain here the first part of the month, and they rescheduled it up. So it's going on tonight, and then Enid was last night, and at Enid, and then Nick and Matt are in. They're in Nebraska at the I-80, I think, at the World of Outlaw shows up there. So they got a 3-day run through Nebraska, and can't remember where all they're going, but they end up in Kansas City, I think, don't they?
Yeah, is it the Lakeside?
I can't remember where all they're going. So got a lot of things happening there too. Going to make a run up to Salina here later with some extra parts to take care of the few racers in Salina. I didn't really hear what happened at Enid, how everything's going there and stuff too, but I know things were good up at I-80 with Nick and the World Outlaw guys. And if I wasn't racing, I'd love to go watch those guys run. Those guys are pretty impressive what they can put out and what they do from that part. So it's kind of winding down. I think we of course, we say winding down. We wind down with the dirt track, but then in November we kick off all the go-karts and all that kind of stuff. We're going to be running around doing that kind of thing too to take care of the go-karts and through Oklahoma and part of Kansas and stuff too. I don't know if we get up in Nebraska on the go-karts or not too. I've heard the schedule, but I haven't really studied that schedule a little bit on the go-karts and stuff too. And from that part, get the Hoosier tires and everything else. Get those kids young in the sport and get them moving up and the big cars and stuff like that too. So
won't be long. It'll be Chili Bowl season.
It's I got tickets.
Oh, did you?
I got the tickets, baby. I got the tickets.
There you go. Yeah.
Sarah, you might stay tuned for that. We might have a few giveaway tickets on the old Chili Bowl again.
Very good.
Like we kind of do each and every year. Of course, we'll do the radio show live down there again. I've already been talking to Mr. Holbert about it. Hopefully he can get on the show with us again this year, but I don't know. It depends on timing and all that kind of stuff too. But Sue, maybe we can get on the show down there at the Chili Bowl with us. We got to get a good spot down there and everything else too.
Yeah.
From that part too. We kind of go right there in that entryway, and it's kind of hard to get the internet to work and that kind of stuff too. But all kinds of exciting stuff coming. Like you said, it's winding down. Ain't nothing winding down.
What I said. On the dirt track side of things, I guess, kind of winding down.
Yes, the dirt track thing, it is kind of winding down. And of course, we've got the USMTS run coming through again towards the end of the month. So that'll be fun and exciting too. So
did you guys talk much? Wasn't able to tune in last weekend, but did you just talk much about the Mustang? The drag car?
No, we need to talk about that because we kind of we didn't know what happened last week.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
We went out last Friday, and so if you haven't seen it, Hunt for Horsepower on our YouTube page, and we're doing different episodes. We basically took a brand new 21 Mustang, and we took it from bone stock and took it out to the drag strip and saw what it would run, and then we started adding parts and pieces to it, and showed you how much more quicker it got in the quarter mile, and what it cost you to do that, and the dollars and parts and labor and all that kind of stuff. And so that's why we're over BG, kind of tuning a little bit more. And so we decided to take it to the track, and went out there last Friday, and Nick did about a 3/4 pass, and that thing did a 10:01, which was pretty impressive on that part.
Yeah.
So we geared it back up and took another run at it, and he pulled up to the start line. And I saw a little bit of smoke coming out the exhaust, and I thought, oh, that's condensation. Condensation.
Were you convincing yourself, or?
I was trying to.
Yeah.
I was trying to convince myself that was all what it was, because there is a lot of condensation going to develop with those turbos and the fuels we're running and stuff. And of course, it was pretty cool out too, so that's why I thought, it's condensation.
It was cool Friday,
but it wasn't condensation. We got about 8th mile, and smoke started blowing out of that old thing pretty hard. And Nick said that's about when the oil started hitting the tires, and we ran a 984. So
that run
still running 984.
Yeah.
But the 60 foot time and the 8th mile time, if he could have had the power all the way through that thing, we'd have went from a 10-second car to an 8-second car that quick. We know, just by what those times were and stuff. But again, the oil slicking down and all that kind of stuff too. And so we finally got the motor in this week, and I kind of pushed things through a little bit because I need to know what happened. And so we'll have a video coming out what happened there. I don't want to tease everybody here, but we do know what happened to it. We do know what the failed part is. We do know what's happened. So you need to go to Hunt for Horsepower on our YouTube page and follow that YouTube through there. And we're going to do a last shot video Monday morning, Josh, and recapping what happened. I don't want to tell everybody what happened yet, because the video's coming. But it's exactly what I thought happened. I knew that's what happened when it happened. I was hoping it was something different in that part. So we've got a new plan of attack for the Mustang, and now we kind of know where the weak point was. And I don't know if you call it a weak point, because we know what failed. We know where that's at. I guess you have to say that is the weak point, but we're going to talk more about that in the video of what happened to that motor. But we got another motor on order. I'm glad you didn't order what we thought we should have ordered.
Previous,
because now we're going to go a different route on the car. We decided, because we started looking at dollars and cents and what makes sense and what's going to be good for viewers to watch and all that kind of stuff too. So stay tuned for the Hunt for Horsepower at Mel Hambelton Ford Racing, and on the 21 Mustang. I think there's 5 episodes out there now. We've got a whole bunch of episodes put together, because we got the episode of BG Products when we're out there on the dyno.
Oh yeah.
Then we got the video of us at the drag strip, and then now we're going to have another final video on Monday that we're going to take and put that all together, and so you can see all that stuff out there with that 21 Mustang. And
very exciting. Yeah, very exciting.
So anyway, James Furman, the World Outlaw Sprint Cars were at I-80 last night, and then they'll head to Lakeside tonight. And then next weekend, the World Outlaws will be at Humboldt on the 21st and 81 Speedway on the 22nd. So we got a nice little run through here with the World Outlaw show. So a lot of places to go to see those guys, and those World Outlaw guys, and
they're pretty serious about it.
Well, they're pretty serious about it, but they also got some big cojones to drive those cars like they drive them. They go flipping around those tracks. It don't take much for them to go for a ride.
To go right on over. That I took a couple of kids through a tour through the facility, through the dealership here, and then down to Quick Lane yesterday in the warehouse and all that stuff. And the Mustang was definitely intriguing from that side. So
so you show them the Mustang back here?
It was more of a how quick can we get to that and talk about that type deal. And I think back to when I was that age. I mean,
I know what I'd been about it.
That's what drew me right into this industry. From that side is it was all about going fast or trying to go faster. For sure. And
no doubt. I go back and think about what's crazy with me is I remember the stupid things I did to try to go fast. If I just would have sat back and thought things through a little bit more, whatever, not played and everything else, And then I watched Jake, and God dang it, he's doing the same exact thing. And I'm sitting back there scratching my head. So, well, I just gonna let it go.
So I've seen people at a drag strip. I've seen them take out the interior out of a car.
Yeah.
Which okay, I get it, less weight, but I just to go to pull all the interior out of a vehicle, I'm just not sure what you're going to save or what you're going to gain by it.
Well, the other one used to blow me away too is guys would go and cut their air conditioner belt off.
Yeah.
What you got to understand, when it's not on, it ain't doing, it's hardly turning anything. I remember one guy did that and he comes back and he goes, you know how stupid that was? I cut that belt off. How much it cost me because I cut that belt off, and it really ain't doing nothing. As I said, no, it really isn't. And then the other one I used to do all the time too, and I did it too. But I mean, or had a different. Take the air cleaner and flip it upside down.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now I don't think it really did anything, but boy, it sure sounded cool though, didn't it?
Man, I remember. It's like a cold air intake or whatever, from that side of things. But I remember a customer had come in, and boy, fuel economy, that was his thing.
Yeah.
And he had a notebook, literally like a spiral binding notebook, and had documented down like drove from Oklahoma to Dallas with air filter removed, got 21.2 miles, and then here to there with this vehicle, and got so many miles. But I mean, every little thing was just noted down, and he was really concerned about fuel economy. And here's my thing with fuel economy: if it needs it, it needs it. You can't argue with it that it should have got better gas, or you can, but you'll still end up on the side of the road if you don't get fuel. So
yeah, and that's the thing is, the manufacturers go through a lot, but I know there's things also you can do to help yourself with fuel economy and stuff. But I'm going to tell you, the best thing that helps me with fuel economy is putting that fuel economy on the dash and seeing where it stays. I mean, it makes me get off accelerator earlier. It makes me accelerate easier, all that kind of stuff. And from that part, it's even pulling that if the 450 pulling that too, it's amazing for me to watch that fuel economy. But you know what? When you're pulling that down the road, you're not going to get any fuel economy. It don't matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
understand that completely. I think let me call him back because I think I just hung up on him.
Please leave your message for.
Yeah, they patched you through, Greg. I apologize, and I flat hung up on you. So if you're listening here, I'm gonna try calling you back. How about that? Well, dang it, I did it again there.
Hello,
Greg.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's the Underhood Show. I apologize about that. I flat hung up on you when she dialed you through. So
no stress at all. It happens sometimes, right?
So what do we got going on today, bud?
Well, I called in because you guys were asking, what's a factory assembly or manufacturing factory that you've ever been in. And forever ago when I was in college, I actually worked for a janitorial service that serviced some factories. And so I've been in a couple of them that I thought were interesting. One was an aluminum extrusions plant.
Oh, really?
And that is some of the messiest, nastiest stuff you'll ever see.
Oh, is it really?
But yeah. Oh my gosh. It was, I don't know. It was in Fort Scott. Because whatever, that's where I was going to school. And anyhow, that was interesting. But the one I really wanted to share about was a Dayco plant. They made mostly belts there, but they also made hoses. And so if you ever buy a Dayco belt, I've seen the gal that skives. It's called skiving, where they make them into a V belt. But it's still 25 years ago, that was still a hand deal because you have to turn the belt inside out and put it on this deal that spins it around, and then razor blades kind of trim off the inside to make it a V belt.
Oh, really? So a razor blade trims the V in it. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then they got different
bevels. So I thought that would be in a mold, but it's not in a mold.
No, they come off actually in kind of a tube, if you can imagine, and then they get sliced to the width, and then they go to skiving, and at skiving they get turned inside out, and this razor blade whatever, it stretches and starts to rotate it. And she actuates the thing and whatever, it trims off the V, and then she turns it right side back out again and hangs it up to go somewhere else. There's still a lot of hand stuff. So, or there was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm sure if you're still running a V belt, it's similar.
Well, that's what I was just getting ready to go to is, the V belts have kind of went away. Now we're into all the serpentine belts. I kind of wonder how they're kind of made. Those belts got those grooves in them. And I'm kind of wondering, that's probably done by razor blade too. They probably slice those grooves in the serpentine belt too. I always just thought it was a mold like a tire. But you said it's in Fort Scott. I wonder if that plant's still there.
I don't know. I haven't gone to Fort Scott in a long time, but the things we do when we're going to school,
Yeah.
I don't know. I worked at the Dayco plant. I worked in an aluminum extrusions place. I did.
So one of that aluminum deal, what was the message? Was they have oils or something they had to have to cut that aluminum, or?
It was just dirty. I don't know. And of course, the only things I cleaned were in the office and then the bathrooms on the floor. But just walking through, it was, I don't know. It was dirty everywhere. I didn't clean anything in the factory, but there was a bathroom towards the back, and I'd have to walk back there.
It was just a messy place. I'd love to see what that was like too. Where was that at?
It was also in Fort Scott.
It was also Fort Scott. I got you. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
The jobs we do. I worked at for the city of Fort Scott. They were building a warehouse there south of town. They were going to build it, and the city agreed to do the groundwork for the industrial complex. So we were flattening off one hill and filling in a valley, and I drove the water truck. I'd have to.
That's cool.
That's the other guys. I was in college, so it had like a 5-horse motor on the back of it, and I'd go fill it up out of the hydrant, and then scrapers and graders would go top off the hill and come fill it in the valley. But I'd have to spray the water, and there was a gal there from, I don't know, some service that was checking compaction levels, and sometimes it was more water, sometimes it was less, but I don't know. Just work.
It's work, right? Well, that's cool.
Thank you. I appreciate the call. It's whatever. Thanks for calling me back, because I was like, man, I was going to tell him about working. Man. And I'll be on that. I want to go back to that Dayco plant.
Those just little rubber, see how it changed or whatever over the years too.
Right. Those little rubber that they trim off, that stuff gets everywhere. Well, I can't imagine anybody goes home and feels clean.
And then I was wondering about, waste on that. Are they able to reuse that or recycle it and put it back in the initial stages of that process or not,
I don't know. Now that I'm on the phone with you guys, I'm thinking of another factory I worked at. I worked at IBP in Emporia, beef processing.
Oh
my gosh.
Oh boy, not for me either.
Well, I worked at the very, very end. I loaded semi trucks.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, 60,000 pounds of beef loads a trailer, and you load 4 of those in a night. And you don't have to work out. You don't have to.
Your workout's done, right?
You're not leaving there and going to the gym, is what you're saying.
That's exactly right.
Greg, I race in Dodge City, and as I go down 400 all the way through there, the last where I take my left-hand turn towards the track, I go past that big processing plant there in Dodge City. I mean, that thing's massive, and there's just semis lined up everywhere doing that deal. So I'd about imagine what goes through that big old plant stuff too. Crazy.
Yep. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, Greg, thanks for the call, bud. Appreciate it.
Sorry about hanging up on you, bud.
No worries.
See you, buddy. Have a good day, man. Anyway, Matt West. Good morning, Matt. What's going on at I-80? Or I guess maybe you're headed Lakeside now. So I don't know if you or Nick wants to call in and give us an update on how your night was at I-80. Love to hear from you too. So you or Nick, give us a shout. Tell us what's going on, where you're headed, and where Mel Hambelton Racing's headed next. And I guess it's Lakeside. So give us a shout if you want to too. Okay. So anyway, Josh. We kind of covered a lot of stuff here already this morning.
Yeah, we did.
And that was a great call from
it was
Greg.
Yeah, that I think just any assembly plan of there's always and then two, he was talking about it being 25 years ago. I can't imagine how that's changed.
I bet it's drastically changed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, going to a processing plant. Ooh, boy, howdy. No, thank you.
Not sure that'd be what I'd want to do. But
Mm.
before we took the call, we started in on sponsors and talking about sponsors and talking about BG and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that they do for us, or and the partnership that we have with those guys. And I will say just the amount of research and development that they put into these vehicles, and just knowing that we're offering a quality product, because there is a
It's not
lot you
snake
can,
oil.
yeah, you can go to a parts house or a parts store, and man, the difference in products that are available to a consumer, but then also the price points at which these products are available. If you get a fuel cleaner or for $1.99, you're not really buying a fuel cleaner. There's just no way.
No.
And you had mentioned about when we were down there and all the testing that they did on competitors' products, and just to make sure that, or the comparison of their products to other products, or what their products can add to, like any motor oil. If you have a specific motor oil that you want to run, and then what the BG additive would also be a benefit to put with that oil, to accent that oil. So it's and then I think too of all the research and development that they would have to do just for weights of oil, for example. How
Yep.
many different weights of oil there are out there, or how many different manufacturers of oil there are out there, and to make sure that product is compatible with all that stuff, or coolants. The number of coolants out there is crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that is a great partnership we have with BG, and like you said, I love those things we have with them guys, and uh, just knowing, like you said, it's a good product, and you're not just putting something in your tank that doesn't work. And how they prove it is they go put it on the dyno, and they do the stuff and show that, and then it's amazing when they take one of our vehicles and they do a put it on the dyno, then they go do the services and come back and show you how much better the thing's performing, how much more horsepower there, how much more torque there is, and the fuel economy and everything else that goes into that, and everything else too, from that part. So it looks like we've got Nick coming through, huh?
Yeah, we'll get him patched through here as well. And so, and talk about assembly plants. The assembly plant there at BG is pretty impressive too. That plant over in El Dorado, I remember doing that. But let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Nick. Nick, you're on live with Under the Hood. Go ahead.
Y'all having fun yet?
Loads
Every
and
day.
loads.
Awesome. Well,
so how's everything in I-80?
I-80 was phenomenal. They had the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series. They had 39 410 sprint cars last night. So it was one heck of a show. Of course, I-80 Speedway is closing after this season. So last night was the last time that the World of Outlaws will get to race at I-80. I think they've been coming there every year since like 1995 or something like that. So kind of sad for the teams and the Kosiski family, but after the races tonight, I-80 Speedway closes indefinitely. It's definitely been one of the premier places to race in this part of the country, but it'd definitely be sad to see it go. But
well, I wish someone would jump in there and buy that thing. I think that thing was a little bit closer to us, Nick. We'd be in there looking at that thing, but it's just too far away for us.
Yeah.
To jump in that bandwagon too. But boy, it would be nice someone to step up and do something with that racetrack, because Kosinski's have had some good success with it. I know they're just tired. I think that's part of it, isn't it, Nick? They're just tired.
Yeah, they are. And I had a pretty good conversation with Joe Kosiski last night, and I think they've been doing it for so long, and he's 65 now, and he's kind of wanting to slow down and kind of enjoy time with his family, because if it, Friday nights they race I-80, Saturday and Sunday they're somewhere with their late model series, and Monday through Friday they're running their auto parts recycling business. And I think the Kosiskis are just kind of ready to slow down and kind of enjoy time with their family, and maybe doing some other things. They've been trying to get trying to get, out of running the racetrack for a few years now, but they've been holding out as long as they possibly could because they don't want it to go away. They've been trying to find an investor or somebody to lease it and trying everything they can to keep it a racetrack because it just means so much to them and so much to the racing community in Nebraska. But I think they've just kind of reached a point where they just kind of have to make a decision.
Well, maybe what they need to do is give it a year, and hopefully it won't go turn into something else, or they sell it to make it into something else, or it doesn't turn into like the track out west of Hutch is just a bunch of weeds and everybody just destroyed it or whatever. So maybe they give it a break, give it a year, and maybe somebody will come around and then jump on a thing. I wish it was a little closer. I can promise you that. But it's too far away for us to do something with that part. But maybe somebody here in the next year, if they can keep the thing maintained and keep it okay, that would still be worthwhile for someone to jump in. There's a couple tracks I think in Oklahoma have kind of done. They go away for a little bit and then they're back in again and that kind of thing too. So maybe that can be what happens. I don't know. It's what needs to happen. Let's put it that way for racing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just for the sake of racing in general, like I said, that's one of our and definitely, one of the biggest attended tracks in Nebraska, and they bring the biggest races, and they have the silver dollar race. So, every summer with the Lucas Oil Late Model Series for $53,000 to win, and the World of Outlaws,
and they pay them in silver dollars too, don't they? 53,000.
They used to. I don't know if they don't do it anymore, but I know they used to. They used to pay it out in silver dollars.
I mean, so pros and cons. If you're gonna give me $53,000, I'll take it in silver dollars. I guess. I don't know.
The worst part about that is what it takes to win that 53,000.
Yeah,
what you just spent to get that.
what you spent to make that happen for sure. So
yeah, exactly.
And you guys are headed to Lakeside tonight.
We are. We're headed to Lakeside Speedway in Kansas City tonight for the World Outlaws again. Probably expect about the same turnout. Should be another great race. Hoosier was able to stock us up with quite a bit and a variety of inventory for those guys. So we've had, everything that they've needed and been able to work with a lot of the teams, getting them geared up on tires. And so had a very successful night last night. So hoping for another great night tonight. And then we'll be headed back towards Wichita tomorrow morning. So
are you in Kansas City yet, or are you still in Nebraska?
So we are in St. Joseph, Missouri. So we're about
pretty close. Yeah.
30 miles or so from the racetrack. We got out of the racetrack about 11:30 last night. Got here to our hotel about 2:00 this morning.
Sounds about what time I got to bed last night, about 2:00.
Yep. So just now getting up and getting around, getting ready to head across the street to the Starbucks to get a little energy, and we'll be off. So.
Be off. And then you're staying the night in Kansas City tonight.
Yeah, if you've ever been to Lakeside Speedway, the exit strategy for getting out of the parking lot is not fun.
It's a little tough.
Last year I got in the truck about 10:30 p.m. and exited the parking lot at 11:45 after the Outlaws race. So
yep.
There's only one drive in and one drive out, and there's a railroad track that goes right across the driveway, and a train comes through about every 15 minutes and puts everything at a screeching halt. So that's
yeah. They need to build a bridge over that thing, don't they?
I know it. I know they do. So
yeah.
But other than that, Lakeside's an awesome track. It's always a good time when the Outlaws come there. It's big and fast, like I-80, and so always excited to go there and watch them go around there.
All right. Well, that sounds good, Nick. Have fun in Lakeside. We got a van loading up, taking more parts back up to Salina. I didn't hear how everything went at Enid last night. Is Enid a 2-day show?
Enid is a 2-day show. They had a pretty decent night last night. They've got about 70 cars in the pits. I think they had 16 or 18A mods last night. Cold Fruget won in his Mullins car by quite the margin, from what I understand.
Did he? Good. I didn't
And
hear that either.
and then tonight they've got the Sooner Late models, and then all the regular support classes again. But Enid's moved their race time up to 3:00 today because there's a chance of rain later on in the evening. So they're going to try to get that race in and get it over with. So.
Well, like I said, we're making another trip to Salina to take some stuff up there. We sold out of some 110 fuel. I wonder. I haven't heard anybody out of Enid. Do they need anything at Enid? Do we know? Do we need to call and see who's?
As far as I know, I talked to them this morning. They're good to go.
They're good to go. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, they're working over in parts right now, getting the van ready to head back up to Salina. We had a good night there last night and stuff too. So
we had an awesome night there in Salina last night. So how did you end up? I think I maybe missed our group text or something.
Well, maybe I didn't. Yeah, maybe I didn't get it. I thought I did, but who knows? Yeah, we started and I redrew ninth, and that's part of the IMCA part of that deal. It just drives me crazy to have to go draw a stick to see where you're going to start instead of earn your position and stuff too. But again, the rules are rules. Yeah. Everybody's got to play by them. You just got to learn how to play the game. And so anyway, it started ninth, and within a couple laps, he's in fourth, and then basically it was him and Clay Sellard and Stephen Bowers were the top three. They were kind of run away with it. And then Bowers broke with about 3 to go. Looked like he broke a right front shock or something. And then Clay and Jake kind of went at it, and Jake just didn't quite have enough and finished second. And so end of a season, ready to start next one. And Jake's kind of a little down and out. He didn't finish the season on a win. He wanted it pretty bad. He was driving his butt off to get up there. Just didn't quite have enough to get there. But we got second. But it's still been a good year for Team 3J. That's for sure.
That is for sure. It's been a great season. So.
Yep. So.
Okay, fellas. Well, have a great day, and we will see you back in the shop on Monday morning. Okay.
All right. Have fun and sell a lot of tires, buddy.
We're gonna keep unloading them. Let me tell you.
All right. Sounds good. Talk to you soon, buddy.
All right.
Thanks, Dick.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, Josh, we're kind of running out of time here, and been some good calls there and stuff from that part. Yep. A lot of things happen in the racing world and everything else too. But like I said, it's kind of winding down for the dirt track. But here comes the go-karts, and here we go. And then next thing you know, we'll be ready for the Chili Bowl. Then we'll be ready for our race open house and kick this season off again. And away we'll go from that part too. So
it's time to. There was used to be a show on TV. I don't even remember what the heck it was, but it was the Trick My Truck, or they were rebuild semis for guys, and it was that guy was always saying tear down or whatever.
Well, that's what Jeremy just texted me. Oh, we're gonna be bored for the next 4 months. No, we're not. We got a lot of stuff to do to get ready. Well, basically what we're doing there, Josh, is that car is going to get retired kind of, but I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to put it exactly like it is. I think I'm going to put a new body on it and just have it for a backup car, because I wish I'd had a backup car at Boone.
Yeah.
But then I just got to figure out how to store it and what to do with it. And then in case I do need it to where it's ready to go and all that kind of stuff and that part. But it's been a great car. I can't thank Buddy and Tanner Mullins for the awesome race car that's been. That thing's about 6 years old.
Crazy.
It's been a fantastic car. Like Jake said, he was hate to retire the old girl. I said, yeah, me too. But
yeah.
Who knows? We might have to bring her back out. Maybe the new car ain't going to be as fast as the old car. You never know.
Never hurts to have a backup plan.
Never does. That's exactly correct. So, hey, everybody, it's been a great show. Can't thank everybody for watching and listening, all the great comments, everything else from that part. And love to talk to you each and every Saturday. And one more time, we got to go back through these BG products, all the great preventive maintenance products we have with those guys, the great partnership with those guys. And I promise you, when you do a BG service with us, you're getting something that's great and helping your car live a lot longer. Big Corner Creative, all your advertising needs, anything to help advertise your company. As they say, just Google us. And then when you Google them, you'll find out all the things they do, from helping your business grow, web page design. He's got a great group of guys that are doing web page design. Then we've got some designers doing all the wraps and all the big trucks and all the things. And we got a 50-foot trailer coming in this week to wrap up. And so I'll be in the warehouse for a little bit. I have to pull some of them parts trailers out or something, Josh, to give them room to work on that. We have to build a building for Bighorn Creative, all the things they got going on, all the big trucks they got going on too. So, hey, and Go to Rent. Hey, we're trying to work that inventory up a little bit better for Stan over at Go to Rent. If you're needing some vehicles for the holiday weekend, I'd suggest get your reservation in early because we're still down about half that fleet over there. So he's got the 10 and 12 and 15 passenger vans for you. And if you need something to get to grandma's house, you better grab it soon to make sure you're taken care of. Everybody have a great Saturday. We'll talk to you next Saturday.